Greetings, this is Sloshworks. Welcome back to Wasteland 2. There was a huge update today with improvements to combat, improvements to the inventory system, improvements to the HUD, improvements to pretty much everything, and apparently they've added a lot of new content. So this was basically what we were waiting for at the end of Series 1, so I think we'll call this Season 2 of Wasteland 2, and we'll start from scratch with a bit of a different party. So I thought I'd introduce you to them right from the outset. So we have Firewater Johnson. Now, Firewater Johnson is a big man, a big, angry man. He likes to hit things really, really hard. He might not be a smart man, he might not be a very pretty man, but he can lift heavy things and hit things really hard with a big stick. He also really likes puppies. I'll change that to puppies. Okie dokie. He also really likes puppies. Puppies wearing costumes. And basically we've kind of stuck with the same attributes that we had last time, with 2 on coordination, 1 on luck, 8 on awareness to get his initiative and combat right up there, and his strength at 10, so he can hit things as hard as he can. Gives him the most con as well. He can carry the most, does the most damage, does the most melee damage, does the most melee critical, and speed up at 5, which is good enough to give him more action points and all that kind of stuff. We've given him 2 in blunt weapons, nothing in the knowledge tree, and we've given him 2 in brute force and 2 in hard ass. We didn't use hard ass as much as I thought we would in the last one, but that doesn't mean that it's actually going to be used as little now that they've changed everything. So I thought we'd better leave that in there. I mean, it does fit with his character pretty well, so we couldn't really go without it. So we'll go next. And we also have good old Chopsticks Hong has returned. So we'll add Chopsticks Hong, and I'll introduce you to him. Chopsticks Hong grew up on the streets of Needles, where he managed to survive by stealing anything and everything that wasn't bolted down, and much that was bolted down. He got his name when at the tender age of 12 he was arrested and locked up for stealing the night's takings from the bar, which I can't remember the name of, but he was locked up in a room full of hardened criminals. The youngster simply smiled and winked at them, and then in less than 30 seconds from the time the guard turned around and walked away, the door was unlocked and swinging quietly open. The young boy pocketing his iron chopsticks and stepping back as the cell emptied, the criminals filtered down the corridor and screams began to echo around the prison. We've given him, I've changed him a little bit. The last run through, my thief and looter had 8 luck. But knowing full well that the rabbit's feet are pretty easy to get and that they give 1 luck, I've given him 9, so when we get our first rabbit's foot in Highpool Agricultural Centre, that'll go up to 10. So we've given him 4 in coordination, we've given him 9 in luck, 6 in awareness, 1 strength, 1 speed, 6 intelligence. One of the things about intelligence is I noticed that Rose, the NPC you get in Highpool, no, Agricultural Centre, I keep getting those 2 mixed up. She actually maxes her surgeon and field medic out at I think 4, so I don't know if we're going to have to be more concerned about that in late game, but it worked pretty well the way it was. So I've changed Chopsticks from having a pistol to having an assault rifle, because I know that I found quite a few good ones of them by the time we got to the Rail Nomad camp. The NPCs were dropping pretty good stuff, so we've given him, of course, 2 in lockpicking, 2 in safe cracking. We'll give him 2 in toaster repair next level. We given him 1 in perception, which is why I gave him only 1 in assault rifle instead of 2, because perception's something that's pretty good to have from the start in finding things. So that is Chopsticks Hong. We have a new person. So the mouth still exists, but we now have Lips McGee. I kind of like Lips McGee. We didn't really have any cool female characters in the last one, so she's got 1 in coordination, 1 in luck, 3 in awareness, 4 in strength, 1 in speed, 10 in intelligence, and 8 in charisma. I changed her a bit around from the way the mouth was in Series 1 because he had massively low hit points, and I thought by giving a little bit more strength instead of a little bit more of one of the other ones, she's not going to be doing any fighting anyway, but she gets a few more hit points. So she has 1 in sniper rifle, so we can keep her right at the back, and she might actually hit something. 1 in surgeon, which is going to go up slowly. 1 in field medic, 1 in leadership because you've got to keep Angela Death under control, and 3 in smartass. Now we might add kiss ass. We might add a few things as we go along because she will be getting quite a few points per level because of her high intelligence. Okay, so Lips McGee. Well, what can we really say about Lips McGee? She had a troubled upbringing, but it seemed to be more everybody around her that got themselves into mischief, while she sat there minding her own business. She was always around, she was always there, but she never really seemed to do anything wrong herself. She can't throw a knife or shoot a gun to save her own life, but somehow there's always been somebody willing to leap in front and take the bullet meant for her. There isn't a man, woman, robot, inanimate object, or cyborg in the world that wouldn't change its entire outlook on life or its base programming after a 5-minute conversation with Lips. She could sell snow to an Eskimo if there was any snow left. And she's very colourful. I miss my colourful one from the very first playthrough I did. Okay, and our last one is Richard Deadeye Dick Smith. Who's going to be our sniper? He has 10 in coordination, 5 in luck, which will be able to give a rabbit's foot to and get up to 6. 7 in awareness, 1 strength, 3 speed, 1 intelligence, 1 charisma, which gives him a lot of bonus range hit chance and a lot of combat initiative, which is really good. The only skill he has is 4 in sniper rifle, so he can't really do anything else. We'll add some stuff as we go along. And Richard Deadeye Dick Smith. Well, when Richard Smith was 5 years old, his parents were asleep in their beds when a gang of young thugs broke into their house and proceeded to beat, torture, abuse, rape them. Young Richard heard his mother's screams and snuck into their room with his dad's rifle held in front of him. He pulled the trigger 3 times. 3 of the assailants fell dead with a bullet right between their eyes. The last one, a big ugly son of a bitch, wiped chunks of his friend's brains and skull from his face and jumped out the window, running off into the night. Richard ran to the window, pointed the gun, and pulled the trigger 1 more time. There was a shriek, a gurgle, and the sound of a body hitting the floor. When his father got to the window, he couldn't even see the man's body. The night was so dark. And he turned to the boy in shock. Richard had never even held a gun before that night, and Deadeye Dick has never missed since. So, you've got a bit of an idea of our group, and how some of them are a little bit same to the last time and some of them are a little bit different, but the few changes I've made I think will actually make the game play much better, and we haven't seen what the new improvements are yet. So without further ado, let's return to the Wasteland.